So good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I just want to give a shout out to all these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young ladies in the audience. Can we give a shout out to our young ladies? Today is about them. We want you to know that you have a city that loves you. We hear you, we see you, we love you, and we're doing this for you. I hope that you were able to go around to all of the different vendors, to be able to learn some new information, and just really be able to network, to get to learn more about each other and learn and see how much your city loves you. I also want to give a special, special, special thanks to my team, to Noelle and Alexia, Christina, for all of the work that they have done. I also want to give a shout out to my support, Dr. Daraza, if she could please stand, because she is my support, so I want to give a special shout out to her. And I also would like to call forward President Freeman. I would like to thank her for all of the support that she gives us. This is our second LEADHerSHIP here, and I just want to give her a time to say a few words.
Thank you. I'll be real brief. I know you all have had a good time. I was in a meeting upstairs and I couldn't focus for all the music and whatnot that was going on down here, but it's wonderful to see you all here. I am just thrilled that you all would choose the Lewis Museum as a space for you all to have this. And I think this year in particular, I hope you all had a chance to see the exhibit. If you didn't, I hope you will before you leave. We have an exhibit here called Black Woman Genius, which is what I see out here in this audience all over the museum, Black Woman Genius. So if you have a chance to see that. You know, I am a mother of 3 daughters, so I love women and girls. And I have always told my girls that it's important for them to know their value, to understand their worth, and know that your worth is not contingent upon a him or a her. It's contingent upon you and what you do. You are complete. Don't ever listen to folk who say, oh, they complete me. Nope, you are already complete. Know that. And know that we love you and we want you to do the absolute best, and there's nothing that you can't do. So thank you again for having this event here 2 years in a row.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I, too, am a mother of 3 daughters, so I understand as well. But again, this day is about you and knowing that you have a city that loves you. And I'm going to throw it back to Alexia.
Thank you, Dr. Brooks. Everybody give it up for Dr. Brooks. I also want to give a special shout out to all the people you see in these lovely t-shirts here. They're your volunteers for today. They've helped make this program move as smoothly as possible. Can we also shout out and give if you have on a t-shirt and you're a volunteer today, can you please stand? Woo! Nothing gets done with one person, ever, ever, ever. And so we thank you for taking your time and hanging out with us today and helping make this event as special as it has been. So I want to do a little who's in the room. Shout out your schools. Let's hear who's in the space. Who's in the space? What's your school? Let me hear it. I heard Merva. Did I hear Merva? Did I hear City? GSA. I know GSA is in the building. Where's GSA at? Okay. And that's on period. Okay, so again, we thank you all. We know you could be anywhere else today, but you are here hanging out with us and investing in yourselves. This is something that I hope you remember for many, many, many years to come. Please take a look at the books that were on your chair. They are going to speak to who is here today, who is in the space. There were a ton of vendors here today who were specially catered to you, who care about you, who want you to be successful. So if you didn't get to engage with any vendors, please do not hesitate to reach out to our office so we can connect you. They didn't have to be here today either, so we also want to give a special shout out to them. Thank you all for your time. Some of them are still over there. Shout out to J Blue Rentals. Who used the 360 booth? I didn't get to go over there. And I don't know if my hair poofed since this morning, so it may not be a spirit of excellence. Okay, so while we are a little bit more time, we have a little bit more time before we get our panel started. This is an influencer event. How many of y'all, what's your favorite social media? Shout it out. What's your favorite social media? TikTok. Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so the person to the left of you, I want you to share your information with that person. That's another reason we're here, so that you can connect and influence each other. And I don't know if you, but raise your hand if you think you're an influencer. Okay, I saw the All right, so I want you to take your phone out, take a second, and connect with the person next to you. If you don't have a social media, just say your name, say what's up. We're a family in here today, so I want to make sure you met somebody today. Make sure you meet somebody today. If you're sitting with your group, with your dance team, if Fatal Attraction, y'all all sit next to each other. I know y'all know each other. I know y'all know each other, but that's okay. That's all right. We want to make sure as well, and this is a life lesson as well, to make sure that you meet the people that are around you. Steve Jobs had peers. Okay? I'm trying to think of so many wonderful, amazing black women who have peers. Y'all are the next. So just make sure that you know the person next to you, because somebody Beyonce. I want to be Kelly because she's fire too, but anyway, that's not the point. Anyway, either way, and Michelle has amazing bridges, but we can have that conversation another time. So I just want to make sure that we are also connecting in this space with each other and enjoying our time. Wonderful. Okay, so we are, without further ado, going to get the main event started here today. I am so excited. And when I say there are people that you meet in this world that just their energy, their light just kind of sits on you. And that I cannot say enough about our moderator for this afternoon. If you take a look in that book, her bio is in the back. And I want to make sure that you follow her on social media, at her, shout her out, because she is wonderful and she is going to take over in the driver's seat for the remainder of this event. I want y'all to give it up. Make a lot of noise for our moderator for this evening, Miss Rhonda. Slaying, just slaying. Yes, ma'am. It's the magic for me.
Hi, everybody. Look at all y'all pretty faces. Happy Friday. It's a very nice Friday when you can get out of school. Okay, I love being out of school on a Friday because it just gives you a nice long weekend. And just so you know, when you get jobs, we like those off too. The adults, we like long weekends too. You guys feeling really good today? You guys having fun today? Good. It's been an exciting day. And last year when I was here, I really had a wonderful time watching you all really enjoy this time. So I hope you felt inspired. I want you to know that you will continue to feel inspired because you're going to hear from some amazing women who just a few years prior have been in your seats watching and looking and really trying to figure out their futures and what they're going to do with it and how they're going to make certain decisions and be really great. And so I hope that you find something amazing in the conversation today. I believe that you will. But before we get into our actual panel with our distinguished panelists, we're going to welcome someone who is very special to this city, a son of Baltimore. And if you don't even have a little bit of an idea who I'm talking about, it has to be the man, the myth, the legend, Mayor Brandon Scott. And Baby Charm. Hi, Mayor Scott.
There we go.
Are we on?
Hello, we on now.
Hi.
I'm good. How are you? I feel like I haven't seen you in
forever.
like 2 weeks.
It's been a little bit, a little longer than that. But you know, I always really, really love sitting with you. It is such an honor and a pleasure. And I think one of the things that it just comes out of you. You just see it on you, your real joy and commitment to not just this city, but very specifically the youth in this city.
Absolutely.
And so this summit is just an extension of that amongst so many of the other beautiful things that you do. Talk to me about why this summit is so important, specifically the Influencer Summit.
Well, listen, are you young ladies having a good time today so far? Y'all sure? Listen, I am a young black man who grew up in a family full of strong black women. And I know firsthand what black women are capable of, things that most of us can't even imagine. But also, more importantly, I know how the world sometimes looks at you all and the things that it puts on you all and the limitations and the barriers and the walls. And that's not just folks that don't look like us. Sometimes it's us. And that's why I always call it out, and particularly black men out in particular, about being full supportive of black women. That means sometimes you got to be in the background, right? That means sometimes you have to let your ego go in order to let whatever woman is in your life, whether it's your daughter, your sister, your wife, your girlfriend, whoever, flourish and be the total best version of themselves. But for these young women, it's really about making sure that they see that from me. as the chief and CEO of the city that I value them and see them and want them to grow to be even better than me and better than every single woman that came before us, because that's what we want. It's for the generations coming behind us to be a lot better. And that's what it means to me, because listen, I tell this story all the time. There were a bunch of men, council members, and elected people in office when I was a young man trying to get in and break in the door of coming into City Hall. All of them told me no. Go away, because they didn't see me as the next generation. They saw me as competition. If it were not for a black woman named Stephanie Rollins Blake, I'm not sitting here today, because she did the exact opposite. She said, hey, why don't you come intern in my office, and then gave me my first job, and then gave me a lot of responsibility. And nowadays, it's like I'm the big little brother, so she's supposed to be the big sister, but most of the time it's me being like, no, we can't do it like that. But that's what you want. You want the folks that you mentor to one day be telling you what to do and how you should operate, and you following them. That's the true mark of leadership. Leadership isn't always being in charge and yelling and screaming, right? If I'm yelling and screaming, everyone knows it must be something really bad, because I don't do that. It's about showing people through love and care how you can do it.
I love that. I love that so much. It's so funny you talked about your political career, if you will, and you are one of the very youngest to do it. You've committed more than half of your life to public service.
All right, don't make me old.
Still very young.
40 in a few weeks.
Just that's so young, right? That's so young. Maybe not to all the babies. Y'all like 40. That's ancient. But it's still so young, and I think the inspiration that I want you to be able to impart on the young women today, for those who may think how I thought when I was 16 and 17, I had no space in the political world. I couldn't really see myself there. It felt like one, as you just talked about, a man's game, but also certainly not a young person's game. How can you encourage the young ladies here to get more involved, to become a community leader, and to potentially follow in your footsteps?
Yeah, listen, you don't have to wait, right? If I waited, I wouldn't be here. You all are already leaders and you don't know it, young people. You can get started at your school. You can get started in your neighborhood through community association. My first election was for student government, right? I was the school improvement team, a member at Mervo, right? The SIT team member, and that just morphed. I became the president of the Black Student Union at my college at St. Mary's College. Alongside, I was on the board of the Student Government Association. And a fun fact of that, my classmate and the SGA president at that time is the county executive in Frederick. My other classmate who was on the SGA board is now a city councilman in Washington, D.C. And we all set ourselves out to this goal to help the neighborhoods and places that we came from. You don't have to wait. I'll just say this, and I say it all the time, especially in public service. The baton is very rarely passed. Most of the time, it's snatched and taken. And I always say that as someone who ran a lot of relay races in my life, not everybody that was passing the baton was able to make it all the way to the line. Sometimes I had to go back and say, give me that thing, and take it from them and run. Just know that you can start now in that leadership. All right, Chom. You can start now in that leadership and be able to do whatever you want to do, despite what anybody tells you. You know your greatness. That's the only thing that matters. The only thing that can stop you from achieving your wildest dreams is you. That's it.
One of my favorite things about, yes, for sure. One of my favorite things about watching you from afar is that you obviously work very hard, but you make time to enjoy life and like have fun. And I know you're a new dad now, so I'm sure you're very busy and probably a little tired.
That's really fun too.
I'm sure it is. I think it's important to talk through and also just share, like, how do you maintain joy? How do you still continue to have fun, although you're doing very serious work?
Yeah, I think you have to have that balance. Before I go any further, I don't want to get in any trouble. So I'm a newborn dad. My stepson would tell you very clearly, he's around the corner, that this is not the first time that I'm a father. So I have to always make sure that we clear that up, get my boss upset. But you have to have balance, and you have to have joy in life. And I think it's hard sometimes in public service because people think that, like, the only thing the mayor should be doing all day, every day is working on serious stuff, right? Like, I have to deal and work with things from murders and shootings and fires But nobody should have to do that all day, every day. But more importantly, I am the CEO of Baltimore City Government. It's not just about police. It's not just even as much, this is the part that my staff remind me of. It's not just about schools, because if I had it up to me, I would just be in schools and rec centers all day long. Like, that's all I would do, is be with you all to help you become better. But it's also about water main breaks and water system, and talking about poop and budgets and contracts and all of the things. And you have to have that balance. But in anything that you do, you have to have joy. If you wake up every day and you know you're going to just be miserable at your job each and every day, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. And I know that some people get a little upset if they see me smiling or having fun, like, oh, the mayor's smiling with this kid at this event, but I ran over a pothole today, right? Like, it happens. But you have to be reminded that people that are in elected office are also human, right? Like, I'm never going to not be a good dad because I'm the mayor. Like, no, I'm not going to miss things, because we wouldn't ask anybody else in the world. You know, I remember I took a little vacation last year, and people were like, the mayor's taking vacation? Why is he taking vacation, right? And I reminded people, the president of the United States takes vacations. So if Joe Biden gets to take a vacation, who am I not to take vacations, right? So we have to have that balance in life and have fun in whatever you do. I'm going to have fun each and every day. I'm going to tell jokes sometimes when people don't think I should tell jokes, right? I'm going to make people laugh, because that's how you have to make sure that you're not stressing yourself out. This is a stressful job, so I'm not going to make myself be unhealthy mentally and physically just because people think I'm supposed to be angry and mad all the time. No, because there's been a lot of folks in positions like mine who aren't here anymore at a very young age because they work themselves to death. And I preach this to younger elected officials here, but also around the country. Like, hey, if you have a family, spend time with your family. Take time for yourself. Eat right. Work out. Play sports, do all the things that y'all might have seen. Like, one time the news media followed me to my social football league. And it's like, Mr. Mayor, something else was going on and you were playing football. And I responded to them and said, well, I remember previous mayors, and, you know, we had a governor at the time, and all these folks, they used to go to the bars and drink after work. Did you guys follow them there and say, hey, why are you at the bar? And like, no. Well, I can't play sports to keep myself healthy, but they can literally do something that was not really good for their health. Take care of yourself, because when you get one life to live, and as much as everybody's going to tell you how much they love you in a job like mine, when you're gone, they're going to move on to the next person just like that. So make sure that you have that balance in your life.
Thank you for sharing that. I want to open it up to anyone in the room that might have questions for
Before we do that, can I
Yes,
give some shout outs to some
course.
great, phenomenal women leaders that I know. Two are in the front row right here. Deputy Mayor Dr. Deraza. Yay. So if you don't know, Dr. Deraza works on all the education, recreation, all the health-related stuff for us. She obviously was formerly the health commissioner. We have Dr. Deborah Brooks, who leads the Mayor's Office of Children and Family Success. I almost said Principal Brooks, because that's how I met Dr. Brooks when I was a young council person, when she was the principal of Moravia Park. I know also we have our fabulous city solicitor, who I think is going to be joining us today, Ebony Thompson, the first woman to have that job, which is a big deal for Baltimore. Our fabulous city administrator, Faith Leach, who is like my right hand. So if you don't see me and you see her, you very rarely see us both in the same place at the same time purposely. But when you see her, she speaks for me. And she is the first woman to have that job as well, leading the day-to-day operations of city government. And I don't know where she went, but my boss, my fiance Hannah, is around here somewhere, probably tending to Sarone. But she's also a fabulous business woman herself, entrepreneur, and the best mom ever, according to Chom Chom.
I love it. I love it. Any young ladies, if you have questions, anyone have a question for Mayor Scott, don't be shy.
Please don't.
Stand on up. Tell us your name,
questions.
what school you go to, and then ask your question.
Oh, hold on, Tyra. Hold on. No.
Hi, my name is Tyra Maxwell. I'm a senior at Dunbar High School.
All right.
Yeah.
Dr. Reeves in the house.
Yeah, actually, we met before.
I can't see you. You can see me, Tyra. They got lights in my eyes.
Well, I'm the football manager, so we met before.
Oh, I see you all the time then.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
My question is, so you start off with your goal, but the motivation isn't always there. So how do you keep the discipline to keep going?
Oh, you use my favorite word, discipline. Like discipline for the win. You have to. Nothing worth having is easy, and nothing's going to happen overnight. So whatever goal you set for yourself, right, that road is not going to be like some freshly paved road. It's going to be like a road that hasn't been paved in a long time. Or in fact, in most cases for folks like you and me, we're building that road because no one that looks like you from where you come from have ever done what you're trying to do. And I'll give you a perfect example of that. When I came into office, I said that we were going to think about public safety and violence in a different way. We were going to think about it through the lens of public health, right? And I created Baltimore's first ever comprehensive gun violence prevention plan. And I went out and said something that people still think I'm crazy for. I said, we are going to drop homicides in Baltimore by 15% from one year to the next. That's what our goal is. In the first year, it only went down. We went like 3 or 4 fewer homicides. But then I didn't give up. I didn't just say, okay, we didn't reach the total goal. We saw the stuff was working. It was moving in the right direction. But that determination, that discipline to not veer, right? Especially when you're getting a lot of pressure to do something different or when people think that you're wrong, right? I say this all the time, but the right thing to do most of the time isn't the popular one, right? You're going to go out there and everyone's going to tell you, especially the world that you young ladies live in where everyone thinks that social media is real life, right? And if it gets a bunch of likes, then it must be true, right? No. They're gassing y'all up and setting you up for failure in life. Doing the right thing isn't always popular. I stayed the course. And then what happened against immense media pressure, all these other things, folks saying like, oh, this isn't going to work. And then last year we had the largest homicide reduction that the city's ever seen. You have to continue to focus, but also never be afraid to ask for help. Always build partnership, but never give up on yourself and your goal. Great question.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell Dr. Reeves you're the best.
I'm AT, I attend BSA, but how have you handled like stress despite everything that you go through during the days?
Thank you. Stress, you're going to get stressed, right? But like I said earlier, you have to have that balance. And for me, I do the things that I love, right? I spend time with my family. I still participate in my sports. I still still DJ. I did it last night when I went home because I had a stressful day, and Charm likes it too. It keeps him quiet. So whatever brings you joy, continue to do it. Don't let stress change who you are, and don't let it or your job and responsibility take you away from the things that you love, even if you have to do them at a smaller scale, right? Like I don't get to play the amount of basketball or football that I used to get to play, but I still get to do it. I get to still keep myself in good shape because you cannot be the best you if you're not in the best mental and physical shape that you can be in.
My name is Madison. I go to Lily Mae, and I know you've been talking about staying motivated and like doing things you like, but how can you stay motivated and like have confidence to do what you do?
So for me, I think I guess that confidence was put in me growing up, right? I come and also just knowing your history matters, right? They always say you're never gonna make it where you're going if you don't know where you come from, right? So for me, knowing that my family, now that I know, going back into the 1700s in rural North Carolina, we were free, meaning we weren't owned, right? That gives me a better spirit, especially to fight against folks who still have that mindset that people like me shouldn't be in a position like mine, let alone be in charge of anything. But also that history of even more immediate history. Having my parents, but also my grandparents in my life for a period of time, knowing that my dad's parents worked on a pig farm until they died, right? Which my baby brother lives on now, until they died. didn't get past 7th and 8th grade in order for them to provide a better life for my parents and then for me, it would be disrespectful of them and all that they did for me to give up on myself and not see myself as the descendant of great people and to carry that pride with me. And then having the community and family of people that are around me and you all, right? I can't give up on myself because if I give up on myself, I'm giving up on you. And my job is to show you all that someone like us, the younger, that comes from Baltimore, can do this job, do it well, ignore what other folks who don't know what it is to grow up young, poor, and black in Baltimore is, and show you the right way to do it. So I'll never give up on myself.
My name is Nathania. I also come from Lily May. And I was wondering, like, before you ever became mayor, was this your original dream? Like, what led up to this?
It's a great story. So I knew I wanted to be mayor when I was 6 years old. And I'll tell you why. I grew up in Park Heights, as most people know. I lived, you said me too? Park Heights? Yeah, we right here. But when I was 6 years old, it was the first time I saw someone get shot. Right outside my house, me and my friends were playing basketball in this church lot near where I lived, and people just started shooting. And I just remember pestering my mom and dad about, like, why no one really cared? Like, we were just supposed to go on with life. Not even like the next day, but like right after, right? And it really impacted me. And I guess they got tired of me asking the same question over and over and over again. And my mom just looked at me and said, if you want to change, you're going to have to do it. But at the same time, my uncle, who runs my family's business, was always getting invited into these political events. And he would take me with him. And he would tell me, like, yeah, this person say they're going to do something, but they haven't done anything and all of these things. And like, look, if you want to do this, you got to do it the right way. And then just by, and this is the only a few times I told this part of the story out loud, just by happenstance, a few years later, we didn't have the Ravens when I was a kid. So before the Ravens came, we got a Canadian Football League team called the Baltimore Stallions. And I had the blessing of my uncle to get us season tickets. But the person sitting next to us was Congressman Kwesi Mfume. And at the time, I had some work on my throat, my adenoids. I was like struggling with confidence in my voice. I was in back then what they call gifted and talented, GATE as we call it, and special education at the same time because I had to take speech classes, right? And I didn't, I was kind of floundering in on my confidence and what I wanted to do. And my uncle, in the Memorial Stadium bathroom, told the congressman what I wanted to be in life. And he pulled me aside and had this conversation about how I can overcome anything and how my voice won't hold me back. One day, my voice will be something that people remember me for. And that gave me the confidence to do what I do. So I always thank him for that each and every day.
Hi, my name is Skylar. I'm also from Lily May. How do I say this? What made you have the idea to become running for mayor? I already heard the story, but what made you build up to it?
Well, I think because I knew at a young age that the mayor was in charge of the city. That's really what made me want to do it. I didn't want to be in the job that could. I wanted to do the thing that had the most change. But it was a lot of hard work building up to it. So as I said earlier, I started in City Hall as an intern. So I was at the bottom, the bottom of the chart, so to speak, and now I'm at the top. But I had to work my way up. I can't take back those years of working in the mayor's office as a staffer, doing things like working on public safety, doing community outreach, working on education work, and actually running the mayor's social media back then. Drives my social media team crazy. Working and writing speeches drives my folks crazy because I used to do their job. So I know a little bit about what they do. And then I ran for city council. I was elected twice on the city council. I'm sorry, man. Elected twice on the city council and then ran for council president and ran for mayor. But I went every step of the way working hard to try to achieve my goal. I'm not the boss here. This is LEADHerSHIP. I'm not the boss today. They're in charge. Oh, yes, ma'am.
I got you. Go ahead, baby.
Oh, hi. My name is Kamaya, and my question is: when you feel like you've got to a roadblock, or like you're in a situation you don't know what to do, what is your strategy?
It depends on the issue. Most of the time, if I get to a roadblock or a closed door, sorry, Dr. D, I blow the door off. Right? You got, like, if there's a closed door, something that they say you can't do or you shouldn't do, or that you know is the right thing, sometimes you got to go through it. And I think this is also important, too, about people who are glass breakers or opening doors for others. If you're doing it for true leadership and true cause, the person would think about doing the right thing as a war, right? The soldiers who are charging first, most of the time, they don't make it. They're not the ones that are get to celebrate the victory. You have to be unafraid to go through that door alone, knowing that you might not make it out the other side, but also knowing that because you've made it that far, someone will come behind you and be able to go even further than you did.
Oh, guys, I know we have so many more questions, but we have to wrap with Mayor Brandon Scott today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
And for letting us see a little bit of baby charm. We're so, so, so happy for you.
Thank you.
And please give him a warm applause, guys.
Thank you.
All right, so we are going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with our panelists. All right, so welcome back. As promised, we have some incredible women on the panel today. And again, I know that you are going to leave here inspired and empowered and hopefully just encouraged to continue to pursue your dreams as these women have done. So I'm going to ask that each of you just go down and introduce yourselves, your name, and really what you do. So we'll start with you, Ebony.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ebony Thompson. I'm the Baltimore City Solicitor, and that means I just handle all of the lawsuits for the City of Baltimore, handle all the contracts that the City of Baltimore enters into, all labor and employment disputes, workers' compensation, pretty much everything that the city enters into. The law department helps the city, the administration, the mayor, city council to navigate through that so that we always operate in the best interests of the city. And happy to be here.
Thank you for that. Brittany?
I'm Brittany Young. Born here, raised here from Northwest Baltimore Park Heights. I'm a retired chemical engineer. I worked in places like NASA, CoverGirl, you name it, I've done it. What I do now is from love of the city. So my organization is B360. We help we help transition dirt bike riders out of traffic into community skills building. So think of little girls as young as 4 to older girls who know how to ride, fix those bikes. And then we're working on the first ever dirt bike campus in the country. That'll be right here in Baltimore City.
Wow.
Hey everyone, my name is Amira. I am a professional dancer and choreographer. I've worked with all of our favorite artists from Cardi B to Lil Wayne, Missy Elliott, Shakira, Super Bowl, Grammys. I'm from the inner city. I chased my dream and now I'm living in Atlanta, achieving it. And yeah, I also choreograph too.
Love it, love it, love it.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Felicia Pearson. Everyone call me Lil Snoop. I'm from East Baltimore. Born and raised. I was born in over west. Was adopted. Came to East Baltimore. I'm an entrepreneur, actress, author, whatever. I'm just here, man. I love my city. I'm here to help. Whatever I need to do to help the youth or just anyone, you know, we here.
Oh, God, thank you guys so much. And thank you all for being here. It's always a pleasure to sit and be amongst women who have decided to really chase and not just chase your dreams, but actually work very hard on them. Especially as a woman from Baltimore, I'm a Baltimore girl, grew up in East Baltimore as well. You know, you hear so much about what you can't do. You hear so much about how this is such a very, very small melting pot that you can only do within these four corners. But all of you are examples of women who pushed past those stereotypes, pushed past the naysayers. And so I want to start, and anyone can take this question: how important is where you are from, being from this city? How important is that to what you do today? And what do you take anywhere you go? Because you're an actress, you're a dancer, city solicitor, clearly you're working in the city, but you have to go outside of the city. So what do you take from this city with you, no matter where you are?
I'll go first. What I take with me, my accent. What I take with me, I take everything, you know. Like they say that, you know, the naysayers. Let's start with that. We say the naysayers say we can't do this, we can't do that. We could do whatever we want to do. You know what I'm saying? Especially women. You know, we have the gift and the power to, you know, accomplish a lot of things. You know, they say we smarter than men. We advance more than men. I mean, earlier than men. You know, and, you know, me, I just, like New York, live in New York, back and forth to Baltimore. You might as well say I'm still here. I just take everything, you know, everything that I've been through, my trials and tribulations. You know, I do have a testimony, but, you know, I'd be all day just talking about it. You know, but when I walk the streets of wherever, all over this world, they know that I'm from Baltimore because, you know, I'm just me. I'm not afraid of what people say about me. You got to put that out your head. You can't be afraid to move out of the city, period. So whatever the life lessons that you learned in this city, you could take it wherever, whatever goals that you have, you could take them wherever. Because even though we from Baltimore, it's still like in Chicago somewhere. It's still the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just, I mean, just life lessons that we learned, you know what I mean, from here, from birth. And, you know, Baltimore, when they say Baltimore, forget the wire. When they say Baltimore as a whole, we got so many people and so many things that's legendary, you know, they can't take from us, you know. And they always try to knock us down, but nah. We is like the strongest city, the strongest city that I ever been to, but we so small. You know, and you know why? Because everybody know each other. It's like we all family. I don't know you personally, but you know my cousin. You know what I'm saying? So things like that. Just take, I mean, life lessons, you know, that you learned from Baltimore. I took my crabs with me because people, and yeah, for real. Because people, I mean, the rest of these cities.
Crabs
states,
not really good anywhere else.
Yeah, and they boil that stuff. You know what I mean? We steam. We got the best food in America. I'm trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like a fat, skinny person. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of things, you know. We could be going on. I'm gonna hand it to you since everybody looked at me for the first question. And I get nervous when I talk. When I speak. Okay, you're my family. I'm warming up. Don't get it twisted.
Amira?
One thing I always take with me is the grind that I learned. I feel like when we're from Baltimore, we have to work a little harder. And even when you are put in these higher positions and everything, you still have to work that hard. Like, I feel like one thing I took was to never get comfortable in whatever position that I've been in. Just as a dancer, it's like, okay, yay, I'm getting booked. I don't have any more free time, but okay, I still want to work harder because what can I do next? Okay, I can become an assistant choreographer. Cool. Okay, now I can actually choreograph things. Cool. Now what's next? Now I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. Is it acting? Is it directing? But I just took to never be comfortable, and it can always be so much bigger. I feel like I never knew how big my dreams could be, so that now that they're getting bigger, it's like, okay, well, let's keep dreaming. Let's not get comfortable. If it could get bigger than Baltimore, okay, maybe it's bigger than Atlanta. Maybe it's bigger than... So one thing I just took was to never get comfortable, and I always keep that same grind and that same energy that I started with. And yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love that. So, Ebony, I want to start with you because you have made history in this city. And I know I speak for so many of us that we are so proud of you. We are so proud to share this space with you. And we just can't wait to see all that you do in a very formal role. But you have brought such light to it. Just when you walked in the back, you just brought so much joy to the space. But what does this moment really mean for you? And not just you, but your family. I know you have 3 daughters. I know you have a family that's watched you and reared you and put you through a lot of education, as we talked about. So what does this moment really, really mean for you?
It's a great question. And this is just phenomenal, this moment. Just a little bit of background. I'm definitely from Baltimore, born and raised Northwest Baltimore. I live 5 minutes away from where I grew up, my parents' home, where we were raised, my brother and I. And, yes, West Side, West Side. And went to public schools went to City, Brittany. But at City, we had what was called a Law Links program. And the Law Links program was basically, well, other schools had it as well, but I went through City. And it took high schoolers and it introduced them to paid internships all around the city. And some of it was public service, some of it was private firms. And I was in the program, and I was assigned to the Baltimore City Department of Law, right? So I was an intern. I was at the lowest level position in the law department. So now to lead the very department where I started is a full circle moment for me, and a testament to all the investment that my teachers put into me, my mentors put into me, my family put into me. So wherever I've gone, it doesn't matter. I've been in Providence, Rhode Island for school. I've been to New York. I've been to the United States Marine Corps Reserves. So wherever I go, I take all of those people with me that have supported me in every room that I'm in, even though I'm usually the only one that looks like me in that room. I'm never alone. I don't feel like I'm ever alone because there are a lot of people that sacrificed for me to get here, for me to get where I've been in the contributions that I've made, and I never forget that, right? So becoming the first female city solicitor, the first openly gay solicitor in the 294 history of this city is just a huge testament to what we can do when we invest in young women. That's why I love speaking on platforms like this, where, just so you know, less than 5% of the nation's attorneys are Black, and between 1% to 3% are Black females. So there are very few people that look like me. So I'm always encouraging when I speak to women. It's never too late to go back to law school. You know, come to my profession. It's a lot of school, but it's awesome, and we need you because lawyers are advocating for people that sometimes are not in positions to advocate for themselves, or worse yet, are in a position to advocate for themselves, but they don't realize that they should even be advocating, right? And so it's a lot of just what we do in terms of on a daily basis and the impact that people have, even though we're behind the scenes and no one really understands or really realizes what, law is basically involved in everything that you do, especially with city, everything that you do. There's not a contract that we enter into without the lawyers looking at it, right? There's nothing pretty much that we do. So it's just an amazing ride. And I thought I was just going to be in private practice. I was comfortable just being the first Black woman partner at my law firm, at the largest law firm here in the state. But my purpose was larger than that, and it's to help close to 600,000 people, and I've taken to that. I've embraced it and embraced the challenges, and I'm loving it. So thank you.
Of course. Thank you for sharing that. It's such an inspiration. Now, Brittany, I know that education is a really important part of not just what you do, but with B360, but your actual story, because you didn't start with B360. This was a pivot for you. So I know that you are an engineer by trade, but talk to me about that transition and really honestly also about how you've pivoted and why that pivot was very important for you.
So yeah, that's a good question. So yes, my background is chemical engineering. I was that girl in first grade that blew her eyebrows off because I got a chemistry set. Right, I was that bad kid that no teacher wanted to deal with, and I used to fight a lot. So I turned to like STEM to like keep me on track. And so entering engineering, similar. I was the only woman, the only black person. They had never hired anyone from Baltimore, period. And then, if the twos, the do's, the U's, every day somebody asking me to repeat myself. And that was me at 17, turning 18. What I did was I became the best. I became the first published author without a PhD before I became 21. And then I really made sure that they changed their culture so that people coming after me would have a better experience. So I did engineering not because I loved it anymore, right? It was because I had to be there. And then following the Freddie Gray uprising, I'm the oldest girl. I'm the oldest of 4. My little brother, like with a lot of brothers, we have, if not my brother, somebody else's brother in the room, I'm sure. I lost him to the prison system. And so that made me mad. And when I get mad, I figure out how to make things better, or I do it out of spite. And so honestly, I started B360 not because I liked what was happening in my city, but because I was very angry of what was not happening for young people and people who look like me. And so that led me into education as well. So I had 5 jobs at one time while starting B360. I was in engineering, I did contract work, I was a college professor, I was a K-12 teacher, and then B360 was that 5th job. And that pivot, again, wasn't because I one day was like, I'm going to go into business. It's because I saw a need, or I saw an opportunity to help my city because I love it a lot. And when we talked about, like what keeps me going, it is being that little girl from Park Heights who saw riders going up the street, who saw them in the parks, fixing their bikes, working on them, repairing them. And that's how I grew into B360, because I remembered the genius, the beauty of seeing it every Sunday, but then also remember my experience as a black woman in STEM. I hated it, and then I also thought about my brother. I have a brother, y'all have brothers, we have uncles, and wanted to make sure for anyone with nonviolent offenses, instead of people going to jail, we do programming and training, right? So it wasn't like I just hopped into entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship found me. But yeah, what kept me going in it was really, I already had that mindset, that background. And then now I do this work from love. It's not spite. I love the work I do. I love seeing little girls that ride. I love seeing adults. I love hearing about the people who found their way when they didn't think they liked STEM. And then education, I feel like everyone should know how smart they are. And that's my gift to this world. And if nothing else, in Baltimore, especially Baltimore women and girls, we need to make sure we shine the brightest. And so if I can't do anything else, I'm going to bring my twos, my do's, my U's, and make sure we shine.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I love hearing that it chose you. Amir, your artistry as a dancer is so electrifying. When I walked in the back today, I was like, listen, I think I do what you do at home in my mirror, but I know for a fact I do not. I know I'm really just not even a little good at it. Nowhere near as much as you, but you have shared that you've worked with some of the top artists, Cardi B, Lotto, Lil Wayne. And that is such a process, right? Artistry requires a lot of hard work, but also a lot of putting yourself out there to be rejected. And rejection can be so hard, especially to young women. I know that I auditioned for Baltimore School for the Arts. I wanted to be an actress. And when I went into the auditions, I was like, I am not really that good at this. And then I was told no, right? But I know that process of being told no can also serve as motivation. So I want to understand from you, how did you get through the no's so that you could land these amazing yeses that you now have?
I think, well, when you get told no, nobody really likes that. So I will say the no's hurt for sure, but you just have to know you may get 10 no's, you may get 5 no's, you won't get one no before you get your big first yes. Then when you get your big first yes, you start taking in and learning all of these lessons that you need to take with you so that when you do more auditions or you trying to get into more rooms, those no's won't really matter. You don't know how to apply yourself, or you just maybe won't get told no anymore. But for sure, I got a lot of no's. I got a lot of she's not ready, but it made me want to work harder. I wanted to get signed to an agency. I was taking dance classes every day, just trying to put myself out there when I finally moved to Atlanta. And there were people looking at me, and they're like, she not ready, she not ready. And then you had some choreographers who's like, she's not ready. But when you got that one person also, you got to find one person who could put into you and that you'll take from. I had a guy named Sean Bankhead. He's a really famous choreographer. But he put me on Migos BT Awards. And from that, that's when all the people who said no realized, oh, she can do that. Like, oh, she is capable. But I took all of those no's, I took that energy from that to make me work harder. So whenever you get told no, just know, keep working, and you will get your yes, for sure.
So Felicia, I feel like your story is similar to Brittany's in the sense that acting may not have been a pursuit, and in some ways it chose you. Now, we know you infamously, legendarily, for being Snoop on The Wire, a show that, if you've seen it, and hopefully most of y'all have not seen it because it's not appropriate for your age group, but it is so synonymous with our city, and it highlights some beauty and also, you know, the things that aren't so beautiful. But I want you to share kind of how that found you, how it chose you.
How The Wire found me. What's that? I get emotional talking about him. You know, Michael K. Williams, my brother. Omar played on The Wire. I seen him in Club One. And I was just coming home for real from doing, you know, my time. And I thought I had did something to him. Because looks can be deceiving. He got a scar on his face. He all drunk, dancing, mean mugging in the club. It's dark. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he came over and introduced himself to me. And the next day he called me. I was in my grandmother's house in the middle room, drunk. And he was, on Moffett and Lanville. He called me like, you know where Moffett and Lanville at? I said, yeah, I'm on Oliver and Moffett. That's right up the street. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, come up here. But, you know, I went up there. I was talking to him and the people from The Wire, like the writers and directors and stuff like that, Ed Burns, Nina, everyone, David Simon, David, they heard me talking. And see, me, I went to speech class. I had to take speech classes because everything I say is like your twos, your do's. I still get that today. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I know how you feel about that. But, you know, make a long story short, Omar said something to me. The Wire people loved how I talk. They want to see, can I read? I said, yes, I could read. So they would start writing little lines, making sure I could remember. You know what I mean? You got to read and remember at the same time. And you see these cameras and stuff right here? They want to be right here. So don't get scared. You know what I'm saying? You got to act like it's not right here. So once I started, you know, doing everything they asked me to do, you know, I was a regular. And, you know, once I got on The Wire, got into some trouble that, you know, that I had nothing to do with, but it was my name. I didn't know that I was bigger than the city. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, take your lick and keep moving. Like if you get on and keep moving, get out the city, because they say we crabs of a barrel. I mean, that's really true. You know what I'm saying? Like once one crab trying to come out the pot, the other crab pulling them back down. You know, and you know, around that time, it hurted me, but I took my lick And I was like, nah, God gave me this gift that I didn't know that I had. You know? And when I got in trouble, I didn't let that stop me from what God put on my heart and my place and my mind, my soul. I kept going. When I was getting them no's, I kept going. Now, I just did a movie with Mark Wahlberg. You know what I'm saying? It's called The Family Plan on Apple TV. I'm promoting. But but I'm just telling you that you have to keep going. You have to keep going. And that's why it was so important for me to come here and speak to the kids or whoever, just to let y'all know that, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I had so many times that I wanted to give up. I'm talking about all the way give up and check out. But you know, my grandmother, my foster mother, my everybody would have been mad at me because I probably wouldn't have hit heaven doors. You know what I'm saying? God don't forgive that. And I don't want to speak it to, you know what I mean, what I was going through, but it was a lot. And I was like, dang, nobody care about me, so why should I care about myself? No, kids, God care about you. You know, you care about yourself. You love yourself. It got to start home. I don't care if your mother or nobody cares nothing about you. You know what I mean? It got to start with you, within, with yourself. And if somebody say no, McDonald's or whatever, I don't care what you try to apply for in life. I don't care what it is. If you set your heart onto it, you're going to do it. You're going to accomplish it. You know what I mean? You're going to get knocked down a couple times, but it's okay. It's, you know what I mean? Because you still here. God still give you, you know, breath in your body, and your organs, you could keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? To get up every day, to keep moving forward. Just don't give up. That's my testimony, and that's everything that you know what I mean, that I want to give to the city, and even to Mayor Scott. You know, whatever you need, I'm here. You know, whatever the city need, I'm here. Whatever the kids need, I'm here. That's why I try to come out my pocket myself and try to do things myself, like my shoot hoops, not guns. I try to do that, you know, to give back to the city, give back to the kids, because my neighborhood, when I come in town, I ride past these kids, you know, I see how they looking, you know, and, you know, I know I'm going off topic, but I'm just preaching, that's all. But
it's okay.
But, you know, I just, you know what I mean, them no's, and coming from here, I come from the hearts, the slum, East Baltimore. I've been through too much to give up at all. I was really cursed, but I cannot give up, and you cannot give up, and I don't want you to give up at all, you know? Like, we from Baltimore, we legendary within ourselves, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, them no's turning them to yes. Like she said, everybody was telling her no. Now here they go. Yo, I need something. No, the price done went up.
I love that so much. And it can be very hard. You know, I think sometimes, as I said to the ladies in the back, we learned so many of our lessons in a very hard way, or we didn't really get it until we were adults. And this is an opportunity for you to kind of get insight on, you know, steering away from maybe some of the mistakes or pitfalls, or getting too far down into them, or thinking that when you got that no at 16, you got so far down into it that you couldn't persevere. Now you know that first no is just getting you closer to that yes. Every setback is really a setback for a comeback. That's truly what it is. Ebony, you know, you talked about how being influential is an opportunity to empower. It's an opportunity to push past challenges. What's one of the greatest challenges you've overcome in getting into this role now as a city solicitor?
Well, that happened in private practice, and we were speaking about this on a panel last week, and it was, like I said, the numbers are pretty disparaging for Black women in law. In big law, I was the only African American female in my practice group, although we were the largest law firm, big law firm in the state of Maryland. And I thought when I got that job, right, I was like, oh, you know, you celebrate, you got the job. And I didn't know that there was a second application process for me, right, that didn't apply to everyone else. Because we got to understand the difference between performative diversity and real diversity, right? And performative diversity is they wanted me to be there in the firm, but they didn't trust me with their work. And so I had to apply to get them to trust me with their work because the requirements are still the same. I still had to produce 1,800, 1,850, 100 billable hours every single year, else you pretty much you lose your job, right? It's about money. So I had to go out and I had to get work. So it meant me having to leave my practice group to solicit work. It meant me having to leave my city. We had offices in New York and D.C. and L.A., and I got to know all of those people, and that meant sometimes taking those hard assignments, those assignments where their favorite associates aren't gone at 7 o'clock on a Friday, and then you have to turn it back on Saturday at 3 o'clock, all, you know, through the holidays and having to do those. But then what happened was they realized that I could do the work, right? And I got a lot of the work. And what I didn't realize is that the chairman of the entire firm was watching all of this happen, and he ended up being solicitor for Baltimore, former solicitor Jim Shea, and he came, and when he came, he said, Ebony, I want you to be my deputy city solicitor, and I'll wait a year for you because the pay cut is going to be 65%. And I know you got 3 small kids and you're a single mom, but you know, you got to make it happen. And I said, okay, Jim, we're going to make it happen. He waited a year for me. I became deputy city solicitor and became city solicitor just a couple months ago. So in making that history, but thank you. Thank you. And I say that to say that what happened, though, is that me going to different practice groups and me going to different cities, what that did was that prepared me now to lead an entire, basically we have a small firm. And because of the work that I've done in labor and employment, the work I've done on contracts, the work I've done in litigation, the work I've done in all these different areas, it now helps me better serve my client, right? And I'm able to better serve the city of Baltimore, and I'm able to help them in not just one area that I was hired for, but now I'm able to help them in multiple areas. So if the mayor calls, if city council calls, and he has a question about something that's related to environment, or something that's related to healthcare, something that's related to labor, something that's related, I have an answer, right? And I can help him. So what was definitely not right, it still worked for my good. So.
Sharing that. I know for me, I am so influenced by so many different women, whether it's women in my family, women that I watch from afar, women that I see on TV who are walking in the steps that I want to walk in. And I'm also very inspired by young people, mainly because of your bravery. You all are just not scared of practically anything. At least that's how I feel. We get older and we're like, ooh, I'm so scared to do that. Y'all are like, I got it. I can do it. I can fix it. I want to know from all of you, what women or girls even in your life inspire you to keep going? Who influences you?
Miss Tabitha Brown, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I love her, you know. She just everything, you know. It's like a mother and a grandmother all in one. That's what inspired me right now. I mean, a lot of women inspire me. You know what I mean? Y'all inspire me right now just being here. You know what I mean? Even the camera guys inspire me. You know what I mean? Anybody. You know, it's just, I mean, whatever, you know, a person, you know what I mean? Everybody have their own light, you know? And don't let nobody dim it. Let it shine bright. And hopefully I inspired y'all too, you know?
I would say the women in my family inspired me, specifically my mother, being as though my mom was a single mom. I've watched her overcome many different things, and even throughout all of that, she still always pushed me to follow my dreams. So coming up, I would say it was my mother. Now I think what inspires me are actually younger people, because I know I was once one of you. So that just keeps me like a little hungry and like, okay, well, the kids, okay, Mary, you can't quit. The kids are looking up to you. Like, okay, you're feeling down today, but the kids, you would let them down. So I think that just inspires me to keep going and keep pushing.
No, I echo that. I'm about to embarrass Deja specifically, because who inspires me? She's actually in the audience. So Deja is, hey Deja, right? I like this. People already know you. I was her mentor when I was 23, 24, which is crazy to say. We're 10 years apart. So seeing, like, again, the fact that she can call people from the mayor's office and they're going to answer. The woman that she's growing into and going to keep growing inspires me every day. It reminds me of when I was her age, but the drive and the tenacity, I see that in myself and vice versa. And it feels good to pull another person up with you. And that makes me remember I'm doing some things right. So I would say Deja really inspires me to keep going. But also, like, when I did make mistakes when I was her age, I appreciate that I didn't have a me. She has a me, but I also have her too, right? She keeps me young because I'm not young. That's just my last name. She makes sure that things are together, and I just appreciate taking this journey with her and all of the next stuff that she's about to do that I can support and vice versa. You can stand up, Deja. They
And the yellow, stand up, stand up.
Woo! I like that birth.
Come on, Deja. Well, for me, it's definitely my mom still today. My mom is over 30-year retired public school, a Baltimore City public school educator, and administrator, Mount Royal, as well as, yes, Mount Royal, and before that, Franklin Square Elementary. So, yeah, she's very, 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 she taught me that education is a privilege, it's not a right. So I'm always in a course, I'm always in school. I'm always learning, never stop learning. And right now, though, it's everyday women, because I know how just amazing that we are. And we were just talking about this last week, how women, we're taking care not only of ourselves, right, but usually we're raising families, and then we're also taking care of the people that took care of us, right? The generation before us, our mothers, our grandparents, and we're taking on that role. And it's just the way that women encourage me to dispel of fear, right? Because I know once you get rid of fear, your opponent is bankrupt. That's it, you know? And once you start living in your purpose, find out your reason why, find out what you're passionate about, what your purpose is, that's going to help you persevere through the how. Right? How you're going to do it. And being always connected to that. And my mother instilled that in me, but that's reinforced by the women surrounded by me, both young and the older generations as well. Because I just see you all do it every single day. And I'm just like, wow, women are like really carrying this. So it's really, really, really amazing. So just women in general just really inspire me.
It's a woman's world.
Yes, Snoop. Yes, Snoop.
All right, so I'm going to open it up to any questions that you may have for our panelists. I see some hands. Do we have someone that can help with mics? Thank you. Thank you. We got lots of questions. I love it. Don't be shy. Your question might be someone else's question, so please speak up.
I'll go this way and this way. Hi, my name is Kamaya, and I go to City. My question is, what was the hardest part of becoming a lawyer, actress, dancer, or starting B360?
Getting started, right? Imposter syndrome is real because people tell Black women what we can't do all the time, and starting things that are new, that are different, going against the grain, that takes courage, but it also takes belief in yourself. So I would say the hardest thing with starting B360 was literally me saying, hey, this is what we're about to do, and then not listening to the stuff that people told me I couldn't. And then outside of that, just in general, like staying true to myself. I used to code switch, being in engineering. don't do that. When you get to the workplace, be yourself. Like I said, them twos, those do's, those oohs, and all that stuff we have, that's an ambassador for Baltimore. And make sure you don't lose that on your journey.
Yeah, I can speak to that really quickly. For being a lawyer, I didn't start out as going straight to law school. That's what I was wanting to say. I want to emphasize the difference between a passion and an interest. Had a lot of interest in things I was good at, but nothing I was actually really passionate about. And if you find your passion, you can connect all of your interests to it, right? So my interest was I was good at economics. I went to school for economics, so I went to Wall Street and I worked at UBS. I worked for one of the largest banks in New York, and I did well, but it didn't fulfill me. I went into real estate, did well, didn't fulfill me. And I was at the graduation for one of my friends, and I said, oh, man, I wish I had gone to law school. I said, but I'll be 33 by the time I graduate. And she said it very profoundly. She said, well, God willing, in 3 years, you'll be 33 anyway, right? If you make it, but now you will have your law degree. And it seems so simple. I was like, duh, right? So I enrolled in law school, and this was what was missing. And you'll feel it, right? You may drown it, you may not listen to it, but you'll feel it. You'll feel like, there's something there. I could do more. This isn't really it. And, sometimes we tune it out, and, and you can live a good life that way. But I wanted to live my purpose, right? And my purpose is in law, is to help other people that cannot help themselves, and to educate myself on different ways that I can help them in ways that they may not even think of it, and advocating. And now we're dealing with attacks on women's bodies, right? And labeling it as it's pro-life when it's really control of women's bodies, right? So I don't want to take up too much time, but there are different ways that you can help people through this profession and through your passion. You just have to find out what it is.
All right, we'll go to the next one.
Hi, my name is Tyler. I go to Lily Mae Carroll Jackson, and next year I'll be attending BSA as a freshman. But back to the so back to what y'all was saying about no, did no really get you make you lose your motivation? Because I know when I get told no, I cry a lot. So.
Yes, it do sometimes make you feel like giving up. It goes back to what I was saying, make you feel like you want to give up. But I want you to get on your knees. It's always God. I don't care what nobody talking about. He's real. I'm a living testimony of it. You hear me? I promise you. You could Google me. It's going to pop up. And just get in touch with my story if you don't know. And I have a book called Grace After Midnight. It's in Barnes & Noble's, Amazon. You go order it. Listen, it's a memoir about my life. Every time somebody told me no, yeah, it hurt my feelings. But I kept going. You know why? Because I'm strong. And I got on my knees. I don't care. I could have been in the penitentiary. And with 50 women around me, I'm sitting there praying on my knees. I don't care how they look at me or whatever. But when I get up, God done told me yes. That's what turned my no's into yeses. Don't ever give up. It's life. We always going to get no's. Your mother told you no, you couldn't go to your homegirl house the other day, didn't she? Yeah. So, you know what I mean? So next week you could go. That's a yes. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't always going to be no. But always keep the faith. You know what I mean? It's all right to cry. We human. They emotions. God gave all of us emotions. You know what I mean? I just don't want you to lash out and try to fight nobody or nothing like that. That's why I say just go and pray. That's it. There's nothing wrong with that. But no's is life. We always gonna get no's, but we gonna get that one yes, like she said, that's gonna change everything.
I just want real quick, Snoop, because she said something really important. I don't want you to miss it, right? No means, right, when you first hear that, it's from that particular person at that particular time under those particular circumstances. You change any of those factors, that no can be a yes too, right? You can have the power to ask somebody else. Sometimes you have, I can't tell you how many, I've lost track of no. I've lost, I don't, but the people that I remember the people that say yes, right? Sometimes I have to go ask another person that has the power to make that person say yes.
Because they probably don't have it. The one you probably asking, they probably don't have the $20 that you want. So go over there to somebody else and ask them for the 20. You know what I mean? You know that they got it. You know what I mean? They probably give you 10. But you know what I mean? They give you something. You know what I'm saying? You're just asking the wrong person.
Amen.
My name is Chloe. I'm from Lily Mae Carl Jackson. But like I have a lot of wishes in life, but I really wanted to know, like, since you already got into your goal, do you have any other wishes for like for the future and to keep going in life?
What I have by my utopia, I have my utopia for it was for foster kids at first, but I was like everybody in the city has, you know, foster kid homes and shelters or whatever, and I was like, nah, I gotta do something different. So I said I'm gonna do it for the LGBTQ, you know what I mean, and you know, utopia, man. I'm trying to go nationwide. You know what I mean? Not just Baltimore, but I always want to start home because home is where my heart is. I don't care who hate me, who love me. My heart is here. You know what I mean? And, you know, I just try to start home. And that's where I'm trying to give back. You know what I mean? I always give back. So if you follow me, you're going to see it on my page. I don't try to broadcast it sometimes, you know what I mean? But if it's a big event, I broadcast it. But, you know, I'm trying with my utopia home, you know? So, yeah, that's how I'm trying to give back to my city and my people.
Anybody else have any other wishes you're trying to accomplish?
I can talk about mine quickly. One of my other brothers lives with Down syndrome. So B3 is an extension of me, not all of me. And I'm 34. You know, I got hopefully I make it to 90. I got a lot more to do. But what's next for me, and whenever I have some time, is to create houses for people with developmental disabilities. Because as a caregiver, no one talks about siblings that are caregivers or Black siblings specifically that are caregivers. So I want to create houses for people to get wraparound services and to help more families transition from it's kids panel, the stuff with getting services for your loved ones.
Hi, my name is Kaylin, and I go to Mervo. And going to Mervo, it's like a lot of like negative things going around, and like it's like a lot of fighting and a lot of like just chaos. Like, what is something I could take to myself to like keep myself like away from it and keep myself like going through like with my trade and everything without like getting knocked down by the negative energy around?
I start with my friends because that's when I got caught up. When I got on TV, I try to keep saying I'm trying to be down and never switch up on my friends and family, you know, and the crowd that you keep around you sometimes is negative, you know. Put the negative people to the side and get with the positive people. That what you doing, cheerleading, you know, basketball, whatever you want to do, like, you know what I mean? And just keep them away from you. You know what I mean? You ain't losing nothing because I hate to say it, if they really into like the violence and, you know what I mean, just the negativity period, it ain't. I'm gonna get that out my vocabulary, because I was ready to say it's no future for them, and that's wrong because some of the people in our city give up on kids like that. You know what I'm saying? They gave up on me. I'm one of them. You know what I'm saying? And I started thinking that nobody cared about me, but I was lying to myself the whole time. But back to your question. Just get away from the negativity. You ain't losing nothing. They was never your friends. You know what I mean? Especially if they want you to be in trouble.
What's your name? Kaylin. Kaylin, I watched you, right, out there, right? You're a leader. No, seriously, you're a leader, and you're leading a bunch of powerful young women, right? Those are the people that you want to connect with, right? The people that have those same sort of goals. It doesn't have to be identical, but they are moving forward, right? Those are the people you have to learn to eliminate distractions. And the earlier you learn to do that, people that are going to take from your talent, take from the gifts that you can give, you have to silence that noise. And once you're able to silence that noise and hear the voice, your inner voice, and the people that are surround you that are going to support you, that's where you go into what is Kaylin's purpose, right? What are you here for? Why are you here, right? And anything that's going to take away from that, they're cut. I'm sorry. It's like, and you just have to make that decision, right? It's a decision. And you've made decisions before. You've made a decision that you were going to lead this team, right? You made a decision that you are going to be a leader. And once you make that decision, and I see the type of passion that you put into your performance, that translates into any other thing that you set your mind to. I've seen you do it, right? I watched you. We talked about it, right? Dr. D and I talked about it. Like, you were awesome. So you have it. It's just surround yourself by the people that are going to push you forward in those positive ways. And you have to silence the noise.
And you're not going to look like a goofy or nothing like that, you know, because you don't want to be with the negativity, you know what I'm saying? But always stand up for yourself. All of y'all, stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to say, I'm not going over there. Y'all doing that. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? No, I'm going over here. I got cheerleading practice. I'm out. You know what I mean?
I can piggyback off of what she just said. Once we got to like middle school, high school, everybody in the neighborhood started doing the wrong things or fighting and everything. And now I have boys who was outside selling drugs. They were older though. They were like my sister friends, but they sending me DMs and stuff on Instagram like, dang, we was doing bad stuff. You was in the alley recording dance videos. I'm happy to see you made it, but you won't look uncool. And if you do, so what? Do you? Everybody gonna congratulate you once you get to where you were.
And that goes for all y'all. And even if boys try to pressure y'all into having sex, no. You hear me? And protect yourself at all times. There's so many diseases out here. I'm talking about from kissing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, even if you did give a little peck, this is diseases. You see what the COVID and the corona and all that, we don't know where that came from. So protect yourself at all times. Please say no. It's cool to be a virgin.
My name is Heaven. I attend Pimlico Elementary Middle School, and I just had a question on, like, what would be some tips that you would give an upcoming poet?
That's art, so I don't have nothing to do with that.
I mean, I'm not a poet, but just try to get at you like what's that, the little poetry
spoken word.
Yeah, spoken words joints that they be having. Like if somebody have it, oh, they got one up that's not 5 Mile House no more. What's who? Do more, be more. Like, we just got your answer right here, baby. And sign up, and I write something about me, please. Word up.
Well, I also just wanted to say, even as a person that's not a poet, but you're pursuing an artistry and it's a craft, so more than anything, keep working on it. Keep pushing to it. Keep doing it. Do it as often as you think about it. Write it out. Share it with others, but keep doing it. That is, consistency is key, no matter what your dream is. So whether yours is to be a poet and someone else's is to be a dancer or a lawyer or entrepreneur, you have to just keep working on your craft. Just don't give up on it. So just keep doing it. Okay, so that is all of our questions. Listen, the panelists were incredible, and they're going to be around for a little longer. So if you want to come up to them and ask them your questions, for those of you who did not get to ask them, please come and find the ladies. I thank you all so much for your attention today, for paying attention, and I hope, again, that you got to take something from it. Please give our panelists a very, very, very loud round of applause.
Thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all.
Yes, thank you.